Why does your ex go silent on you rather than actually talking to you or asking for space? That's what we're going to be getting into in this video, so please stay tuned and watch through all the way to the end because I'm going to give you some great resources to help you work through all of this and take some practical actions moving forward. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and today we're talking about why your ex shuts down, goes silent, rather than talking to you or letting you know that they need space or whatever the case might be. And there's a couple of things that are going on here. First of all, just overall social dynamics are changing a lot. You know, just over the past couple of years, the past several years, how we actually interact has changed a lot thanks to, these little things that we keep around in our pockets. There's a lot of research that's been going on about this, but it causes people, our phones, social media, texting, all that sort of stuff, it causes people to see each other as more of a commodity. It causes people to think that, hey, I have the option of not responding right away. And then, of course, that option starts to turn into guilt, and it causes people to separate themselves and to not actually respond. There's been a lot of great researchers that have been talking a lot about this, like Sherry Turkle, etc. But how this has been affecting us is definitely real, and you want to be careful about this, and hopefully your ex is careful about this too. But it's one of the reasons why dating is so much more difficult these days, because people always wonder, like, hey, is there someone who's a little bit better out there? Let me keep swiping. Or it causes people to hold off on responding right now because they think, well, maybe I'll just pretend I'm busy right now, and I'll just, think about this so I can edit what I'm going to say and make sure it sounds really good, and then I'll get back to them in a few hours or tomorrow or something like that. And then they start experiencing some of the other things that we'll get into here, and then a little bit of time passes by and then they actually just don't contact you. So that's a really challenging thing. So please make sure you understand this. So that is, of course, one of the reasons why your ex may be going silent, is that they are just not able to interact with you the way that maybe people did 5, 10, 15 years ago, before there was so much smartphones, social media use, technology, etc. It causes people to curate their experiences rather than actually have real, authentic, in-the-moment experiences. It's sad, but it is affecting how we interact with one another, and there are no real set, socially accepted etiquette for how to respond or not respond, or what is an acceptable time to respond, etc. So we want to be mindful of this, and we want to be keeping that in the back of our mind moving forward. But things get worse because there's other forces at play as well too in all of this. And that leads us to the second thing, which is that you and your ex probably don't have a really clearly defined way of fitting into each other's lives. In our society, there's no real clear way on how we're supposed to fit into our ex's lives after a breakup. I mean, sure, there's movies and TV shows where we learn that we're supposed to hate our exes and they're all psychotic and we're supposed to avoid them like the plague and all of that. But what if your breakup wasn't this terrible, awful thing that involved cheating and screaming and crying and all that sort of stuff? What if the two of you just amicably decided that you are incompatible and you're going to break up? Clearly, you don't hate each other's guts, but what are you supposed to do? That leads to this sort of awkward place where nobody really knows how they're supposed to fit into each other's lives, and so they're afraid of leading the other person on, they're afraid of giving the other person too much, they're afraid of giving someone false hope, they're afraid of this, they're afraid of that. And so many times in this situation, people will be conservative and they'll back off and they'll give more space than they necessarily need to. This is very, very common, so your ex could be doing this on top of all of that social media stuff that we talked about as well too. Now, to make things even worse, there's a third level of complexity here, and that is where hurt feelings, complex emotions from the breakup, pain, resentment, guilt, embarrassment, things like that start to show up, right? Of course, your ex could be feeling all sorts of things from the breakup. I don't know why the two of you broke up, but maybe there were hurt feelings involved. Maybe there was fighting involved. Maybe there was a lot of high drama. I don't know. Maybe on top of that, they feel a little bit guilty about hurting you. Maybe they feel embarrassed about a failed relationship. Maybe they feel embarrassed about leaving you for someone else, and so they're holding back on talking to you, even though they really miss you, right? That there could be a lot of stuff that's going on in this whole process. But despite all of this, there's one thing I want you to always remember about everything. Before we go ahead and get into that, though, I want to make sure that you hit that thumbs up button if you're liking this video, and if you also like the videos that I do in general, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and make sure you hit that bell icon as well too, so that you can get notified when we publish new content, and also when we do live streams, so that we can actually have a two-way conversation. Maybe I can answer a question of yours or something like that if we happen to go live while you're online or something like that. But you're not going to know unless you hit that notification bell below. Anyway, the thing that you want to know about all of this is that your ex is, even though they might be pulling away, even though they might be silent, even though they might not be talking to you, you don't want to forget that they're having their own invisible experience through this whole journey, okay? They may not be talking to you, and you might be thinking, hey, they don't care about me. They don't love me anymore. They don't want to talk to me. They've forgotten me. They've moved on, all of that sort of stuff. Not necessarily so. Your ex is having a completely invisible experience. You don't know how many times they could be picking up that phone thinking, oh gosh, I miss you. I just want to send you a message. Maybe I should call you. No, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that's too much. Maybe my friends are right. Maybe I should just do no contact for another month or whatever. You don't know what's going on with them. You don't know how many times they've cried themselves to sleep or how many times they've regretted the decision. You know, I've told you this story before in my own personal story. I'm going to go ahead and put a video card to it up there in case you don't know it. The second time my big ex and I broke up, we actually did no contact for several weeks. And during that time, I thought, like, okay, she's moved on. She's forgotten me. She doesn't care about me. Our relationship meant nothing to her. She's just moved on so quickly. I can't believe this. And then one day she actually sent me a message saying like, hey, I miss you. I can't stand not knowing what's going on with you. All that sort of stuff. But up until the very moment that I got that message, I thought she didn't care. Clearly I was wrong because she was having this entirely invisible experience of missing me, of regretting her choice, of wanting to reach out and connect with me and all of that. I was not clued into that in the slightest. I don't want you to forget that your ex is having this totally invisible experience that you just may not be clued into at all. Okay, and if you want to understand more of your ex's emotional world and the complexities of it, I'd really like you to go ahead and check out this video playlist right over here on your ex's 5 stages that they go through in getting back together with you. This is very critical information that I hope that everyone that watches this channel understands. It's going to be very insightful for you and help you understand exactly what's going on with your ex emotionally that explains some of their confusing behavior. So please go ahead and check out this video series right here. Anyway, thanks so much, take care, and I'll talk to you next time.